journey's end at the festival pier. That's just along river from us, as captured by our roof camera, a key site, as Lloyd Bracey explains, in work on the Jubilee Line extension.
It's an early flood tide on the Thames. Trigger Livermore has worked this river for 42 years, and his father worked it before him. Once he was one of thousands of watermen, now he's one of hundreds. It breaks his heart.
Sad, really. Well, very sad.
What would you like to see out there?
Everything come back as it used to be. More tugs and barges and cargo being shifted on the river, as it should be used.
His tug's 1,000 horsepower diesel cajoles 2 vast barges towards London. You'd need 50 lorry loads to fill the big one. And yet, while the lorries labour through the roadworks, Mamba has a motorway to herself. It wasn't always like this. As recently as the 1960s, the Thames bustled with barges carrying coal, grain, paper, aggregates, anything that demanded bulk transport. But as the roads have grown busier, the rivers have grown quieter. There are fewer than 300 watermen today, their average age 55. In the past, their sons would have followed them into the business as night followed day. Now, watermen like Maurice Dyckhoff are resigned to being the last of a line that stretches back to 1868.
My 2 boys didn't want to know. They see me so much in and out of work, so they just didn't bother.
Alan Bennett has been on the river since he left school. Now he owns this dilapidated fleet of tugs and barges. He knows what's choked his industry, and he doesn't blame anyone.
When the River Thames was great, we had an empire, we had ships. And they went to Australia, and they went to Canada, and they went to South Africa and places like that. And they all come up this river. When I was a young boy, I used to go aboard the ship with a pilot and steer them up this river. Very proud of that, see? But then along came the man, the American, who invented the box. Then they developed different harbours to receive containers. And unfortunately, containers economically, to go up this river, it's not on. There's nowhere to take them.
All along the waterfront, from Gravesend to Westminster, where there were once wharves and docks, there are now luxury riverside apartments. The watermen chug past. They can't afford to live where their fathers worked. And yet there is work on the river, and these men are doing it. The Sea Challenge comes alongside the giant barges to transfer crew. This is the Argonaut, another of the Bennett boats. Nearby, 2 Australian-owned shipping tugs stand ready to earn their keep on this most English of rivers. The job today, as it is every day, is to take hundreds of tons of spoil downriver, where it'll cap landfill sites. Tower Bridge, and the Mamba is nearly at journey's end. Beneath the chaos of the capital, the watermen pass sites that pleasure trippers pay to see. Near Festival Pier in the heart of London, a conveyor spews out what the city has no room for: spoil from the Jubilee Line underground extension. When these barges are full, 60 lorries won't need to be, and that, says Alan Bennett, must be the future of this river.
But it's got to have a future, because otherwise we may just as well fill it in and build houses. And an M25, we could call this the M Thames, couldn't we?
If they did that, perhaps the river would be busy again. And until they do that, there will always be a son ready to take over from a father and earn a living on the motorway the 20th century forgot. On the Thames, this is Lloyd Bracey for London Tonight.
Surely there has to be a future. It's the only uncongested route in London. It's crazy.
Got to